Coming to the US and being a student at American schools, we have faced a lot of transitions in education. In Africa, we didn't have as much homework as we do here. We didn't have free education, and also teachers would use physical punishments on the students if they did something wrong or misbehave. Things like this don't happen in the US. Now I will take you on a journey where you will see a few students who lived through these different transitions.
Well, the schools in Africa, they were good, but they had teachers problems because the teachers used to punish the students. If you do like something wrong or you come late to school, the teacher will punish you. The teacher will punish you because that's the rule in Africa. Like if you do something wrong or you misbehave, the teacher has the right to punish you. Yes, there are a big difference because in Africa we didn't have like a lot of homeworks to do as we do in here. And we didn't have like homeworks or other extracurriculums that we do in here, but it's different from here. My first day in school, it was good because I had a lot of African friends who I met over there, and it was good. I also met with my ESL1 English teacher, and she invited us to her class, and it was good. I enjoyed it. The most interesting thing about I like in US is that like after school we have a lot of programs that you can participate, and they have a lot of TV shows which you can watch, which is my favorite, wrestling and sports. It's really good. I like it. That are the most interesting things. Sports which I involved in soccer, which I play for my school. My transition from Africa to US, it was at the beginning was kind of hard because of the language, and we didn't speak the language, and we had to offer someone to translate for us, which was hard, and I enjoy it. Right now it's going great. It's good. The education in US, I like it because it's good. You have a free education in here, and which you can continue your education after you finish high school. You can go to college and study what you want to be in the future, and it's good. I like it. It's really wonderful.
What are your plans for helping your country?
My plans for helping my country is like when I finish my education and I get money to visit my country and help the poor people with what I can do for them and visit my country.
Challenges that refugees face when they get to school here. Well, if they're high school students and they come from refugee camps in places where maybe they have never worn shoes and they don't know how to speak English and they don't know how to behave in the culture here and they don't understand what the right thing to do is here according to this culture, they have a lot of questions, a lot of problems, and a lot of trauma. They feel really hurt and sad, and they don't understand, and they don't know what it is that's happening to them. They're in a place that maybe go home and cry after school because they don't know what's going on, and they don't know who to ask. So they need some help, and they don't know who to go for help. The parents don't know because it's all new for them too. I think that's probably one of the hardest, not to mention the language and the math and the subjects that they can't understand because they don't have the language and they don't have the background that would help them understand if they did have the language.
African education, you have to pay money for school and you have to buy books for your school. You have to buy some stuff in school like pencil, books, and here you have free education. You can buy nothing. They give you a book in school, so it's different. It's hard to get education, free education over there. And my mom, because it's hard to get money to pay for my school fee and my brother's school fee. So she have to go and look for jobs so she can pay our school fees. So it's hard.
Did you go to school in Africa?
No, I didn't. I came here before I started school. I didn't go to school in Africa. I didn't go to school since I was little. I came here before I started school. So.
Why you didn't go to school?
Because of the war. We were running like all year. So I came here before I started school. I started going to school for the first time in my life. How was school in Africa compared to this?
It was like very different because like we have good education, and then in Africa we don't really get that much education because they have to pay the teachers and they can't pay them that much. So if they don't pay them, they refuse to teach. So we won't get like good education.
When I was living in Africa, I used to see a movie about America. And in that movie, I saw a lot of beautiful houses. I was expecting that kind of house for us to live in when we came here. But I was surprised to see the kind of building they put me and my family in when we first came to the United States. It was worse than back home. The building was very bad. These are the housing conditions that African refugees live in Hartford have faced.
What did you expect your house to be like when you first get into United States?
I expect it to be like to have everything inside, to have like swimming pool and all kind of stuff inside.
Did you get those things?
No,
None of them?
no, none of them. No.
Did you feel happy when you get into your house?
At first, when I first got into the house, I was very surprised to see what my eyes see.
How about the I heard something about your house, like something's wrong with the roof, something like that. Can you explain more about that?
My house is like this one. Can you point the camera over there? Like that one, but the roof come out and is leaking, and when we cooking, the water up there come to our place.
Oh. So how do you feel like when it's raining and then those all waters or snowing, like all those waters get into your house? Do you have to do a lot of things, or like do you talk to people about those things?
I feel very bad about it, and sometimes my mom called the landlord to come and fix it, but anytime she called, the phone went to message. I don't know.
So why don't you like go there and ask them all those questions and fix them there, because those things are their responsibility, is not yours.
Go where to ask me?
To the landlord straight face to face and tell them everything.
No, like for America housing, you don't have to meet the landlord. Like they have some people that take care of the house. So when the house get problem, you have to go to them and ask them.
Well, when I was first invited to go to someone's house, I was really shocked to see how the apartments looked, because the families themselves didn't have dirty apartments. The apartments were clean, but the buildings weren't very good buildings, and they were not repaired right. Some of the doors were not on right. Some of the there were a lot of insects, cockroaches. I heard a lot of stories about rats and mice, and I was really shocked and I was disappointed that this was the first introduction that the refugee community was having to America. It wasn't how it should be.
Please, can you describe the housing condition of the refugees in Hartford that made them protest?
Well, like I said, a lot of people had apartments that were really run down. They weren't in good condition. A lot of times, even a good example is someone who lived on Whitmore Street. I think you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah,
and their bathroom was really, really in bad shape. Their sink was actually broken in some ways, and their tub was just a lot of leaking in the walls, which caused mildew and mold, which is unhealthy for kids and adults. And like I said, there were a lot of mice problems and problems with cockroaches, and people were losing their food. I remember the Omar family on South Street when they came, and I went to their house and they showed me the bags of beans and rice that had actually been eaten through by the mice. So, you know, they were trying to protect their food. Even the containers they would put the food in, they would eat through the plastic. So I saw some of that. Of course people are going to be angry about that.
What did the refugees decide to do to change the housing conditions?
Well, as you probably know, we were trying to work with Catholic Charities, who is the agency that sponsors a lot of the families that come here as refugees. And we were trying to talk with them about changing the way that they put families in housing, because they were putting people like I've said, in really bad housing conditions and basically leaving them to just make it work on their own. And no matter how clean people were keeping their houses, it wasn't clean enough because the buildings were falling apart.
Yeah.
So the refugees basically decided that they couldn't accept this anymore. And so I worked with them, as well as other people from Heart, to talk about what did we want to do together to address these housing situations. So we were trying to work with Catholic Charities, but Catholic Charities didn't want to work with us as partners. And so we had to go to them and basically bring attention to the fact that they weren't doing their job.
You have seen some of the experience that refugees went through when they come to America. But people AHA and other places help us to fight for better housing, and we have given tools to make our educational transition easier. In Africa, people went to school and had jobs even though they didn't make a lot of money. But coming to the United States and facing different problems was still very hard. And we appreciate the help that people have given us. Thank you.